Hey, good morning, remote learners. Today is Monday, January the 11th. It is a PE day. Get some vigorous activity in and keep working so well today. It is our final day of goals week. You have until 12:30 to post your goal on the Padlet. And then tomorrow we'll share some winners and talk about the yearbook coming up. Remember, on Thursday, we have yearbook pictures. So be ready in your Zoom for those. And here's the address for the Padlet to share your goal or your New Year's resolution. You have until 12:30 today. One goal that I set a while back in 2004 was to become a national board certified teacher. And this goal allowed me to work with one student. His name was Gathel, and we worked through his story. And I did this with all my students, to be honest with you. I love writing. And so we read the book Hatchet, and then we wrote our own stranded stories. So you can see some of the edits and the advice that we went back and forth on with his writing. So I talked to Gathel a few weeks ago, and he wanted to share just a little bit of advice with you. So if you can listen to a short clip of my buddy Gathel, he was one of my sixth graders when I was at Blue Jacket Flint. I love this kid so much. And so here he is. He wanted to share with you. So I work also with a lot of our remote learners. These are students who are fully remote because of COVID. Do you have any advice for them, Gathel? What's it going to take to be successful in this brave new world that we're in?
I mean, given the circumstances, I'd say the best advice I can give to anyone is to really just not get discouraged and like try their best given circumstances. I know it's really challenging for people to, you know, go from seeing their friends all the time on campus and learning in like a classroom environment to all of a sudden being locked into your room, your apartment, your wherever you live almost all the time drives people insane and they just want to give up. I've known several people who have just seemingly like gave up with like school or work or whatever's going on in their lives just because, like times get hard. But I mean, this is what happens in life, the worst things happen and you just kind of have to roll the punches. So the best thing I can say is try to adapt to what life gives you and try to work it through because it's not going to last forever.
I love it. One of the things that we focus on is a lot of goal setting and habits. So this is one of the things that we're sharing is a book called High Performance Habits. And it just talks about those that are both personal for yourself to set high standards, and then those for being able to influence others to help them find their voice. What does it take to have good goals or good habits that you've found most successful?
I think what it takes to have good goals and good habits, it's a mix of things, and I'm sure I'd have a much more elaborate answer if I don't know, maybe prep more. But I'd say the big thing that you want to do in terms of like reaching these goals, I guess, is consistency and having like specific goals. Like you can be someone who's like, okay, I'm gonna read more this year. Well, I mean, if you're not holding yourself accountable and like you're just giving a vague goal like that, it's like how are you going to reach that goal? Whereas, you could say, I'm going to read, a chapter a week, a chapter, or like I'm going to finish a book a month, because then you can actually see your progress. So you get to the end of that week and you say, did I read a chapter or did I not read a chapter? So I'd say setting specific goals and like mini goals for yourself. So find your goal, find where you're trying to go, and then what are the small steps you can start taking to get there. And then another great thing to have for goals is to have a good support system with you, whether that be one person, whether that be 5 people, 10 people, your family, your close friends, whoever it may be. They will support you if they love and care about you. They will support you no matter what your goal is, whether it's I'm gonna graduate with a 4.0 GPA, or I'm gonna become some politician's super high-ranking official, or whatever it might be. You need people who are gonna be there and push you, but also hold you accountable and make sure so they will be there to kind of make sure you don't go off the rails and keep you in check of where you're supposed to go.
Absolutely. Well, the writing sample that I analyzed most for when I was working with you was when we had read Hatchet and then you wrote your own stranded story. And so I thought it was really cool that you
Right
wrote
about
such a creative story on being stranded and how they had to survive and had to be able to come back around. So I think that this year we never would have guessed where we would have ended up in a year like this. But we're so glad that you're not stranded and that you have been able to be so successful. And I'm just so proud of you, Gathel, and I sure love you a lot, bud.
Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate and think of you fondly when I'm looking back, especially like you were one of those teachers that I really enjoyed having as a kid. Just like you and Miss Griffin, like those two sixth grade teachers for me was like I never forgot about you two.
Had a great time for sure. So that was some interview with Gathel. I just wanted him to share some. He talked about really being specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound in our goals. So SMART goals. These are some do's and don'ts on just some advice as you're continuing to craft your goals to be successful for 2021. We wish you the very best. We hope that you have a great day learning remotely. This is a normal week. So on Wednesday, we'll have morning meeting and afternoon meeting, and then the rest will be a little more open. So stay brave, creative, and strong, and we'll talk more soon.